overall, the formula was so good.
Yeah.
I remember like our head of this department we were in was like, Rhasheeda, I have got to know what y'all doing. We were consistent. It was never a month we didn't miss go. We were 120%, 200% to go. It was they couldn't touch us. They were like, what is y'all doing? And so the top guy was like, yo, I want to have a conversation with you. So I put this whole presentation together, and he was in Seattle, I was here in Atlanta, and I presented it to him and a couple other like top wigs at the company. I'm talking about the top dogs at the company. And they were like, this is brilliant. We are implementing this across the board for this entire department.
What were some of the things you all was doing to stay number one like that, though?
One is understand conversation, how to have conversations. Because we had inbound leads, right?
Yeah.
And so it's having conversation and building relationships. So I tell people, when you are in sales, if you can't build relationships, you can't sell.
Right.
You got to be able to relate to people. You got to have conversation. You got to be conversational. You got to be fun. You got to be able to have good listening skills. And I taught my team that, right?
Yeah.
And then I taught them that sales is a numbers game too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we knew for every 5th to 8th call, we were going to close the deal. We knew that.
There you go.
We knew that. That was the data. There you go. Yeah. We knew how to overcome objections. I'm big on objection handling. You got to overcome that objection. Well, I understand you can't do that, but let's think about it from this angle. What's holding you back? Also, follow up. Just because if they say not right now, then you need to call them back in 2 months. Keep them on your radar, right? And so just some things we did with the formula.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I remember everybody was like, yeah, that's dope. We going to do it, Rhasheeda, blah, blah, blah. And the head guy was like, I'm going to fly down from Seattle in a week, and we going to get it together, and then we going to have the trainers present it, and blah, 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 blah. And my manager, as we walking out the door, said, you did good, but you should have spoke more like XYZ, this white girl.
Oh, man.
Manager.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was just like, you a hater. But I hit him with, that's not authentic.
Right.
And I'm not her. So out of respect, you need to learn me and separate both of us.
So they kept playing this thing where they kept attempting to get you to act and move like this white person, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And not be yourself.
And I resisted it.
Yeah.
Because I can only be Sheeta.
Right.
Why I'm not comfortable like that. That's not my style. And so they implemented it, but in the midst of that, they put my team under investigation saying we were cheating. And that was hard.
My thing is, though, if you all putting up the numbers, why does it matter?
Because I was beating her.
Yeah.
And I was probably 2 months into the investigation, and again, this is the most money I think I have ever made in my sales career. And this is why I say this was like the big leagues, right? And I came home, I was so frustrated, and I had moved my mom down here to Atlanta, and she retired, and everything was great, like, you know. And I told my mom, I said, I'm quitting. I'm like, I ain't got time for this. I can go somewhere else. I ain't doing this. You know, I don't appreciate this. Like, I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
And my mama said, I know you done lost your mind. She said, don't you get paid on the 1st and the 15th? What them checks look like? I said, they look good.
Yeah.
She said, can't you go wherever you want to go, buy whatever you want to buy, do whatever you want to do? She said, you don't let nobody stop your check. She said, you go up there with your head held up high. You go through what you got to go through. You set the tone still, and it's going to be all right. And she was right.
Yeah.
That was the best advice I think I ever got in my sales career. You don't let nobody stop your check. You don't let nobody rip your brand and who you are away from you. No matter how much they telling you can't be this, you can't be that. That's bull jump.
Yeah.
You be you.
Yeah.
And they got to adapt to you. Don't adapt to them for what? You the prize. You the one bringing in the money.
Right.
Why I'm not, don't compromise yourself for the dollar.
Absolutely.
If they my mama said, they gonna pay you no matter who you are. Because your numbers speak for themselves.
That's what I was saying. I was saying, if you putting up the numbers, I don't really see why it matters if you acting like this.
But that's
other
not
lady or not.
That's not corporate though.
Right.
Because I'm coming in with a lace wig, long nails blinged out. You know, I'm a threat. Because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't go in there asking nobody for permission. And I don't ask for permission. I go in and I know what I need to do and I get it done.
Yeah.
You want me to sell? You want these numbers through the roof? That's what you're going to get from me. Period.
Yeah.
And at this company, my mom passed, like right before COVID.
Man.
And
sorry to hear that.
That was crazy. And I remember I took some FMLA because I had to just reset. And man, that team, my team, like my actual team, man, they held it down. They were like supporting me and everything. And I remember one of my folks on my team called me. She said, and she wasn't being mischievous, and this is my girl to this day. And she shared with me that they had said I was lying because I was still under investigation during this time as well too.
Yeah.
Lying about my mom passing so they could stop the investigation.
What?
This is how crazy this company was.
Yeah.
And we laughed because she knew me well.
Yeah.
And she like, girl, they crazy. I said, I know. They
Yeah.
crazy. But I knew when I came back, I had to knock it out of the park. And I did. And then I left. I got another role at another company.
What
And
made you leave?
They didn't respect me.
Yeah, we see that.
And
So you finally just said, I'm done with it.
I said to myself, I don't need y'all. You need me. I am not going to keep being disrespected as a black woman who's bringing substance, who's bringing value, who's creating a cohesive culture where everyone is learning. I wasn't going to degrade myself no more. And that was like my line in the sand. And I had to do some deep diving because this was my dream job. And it was hurtful to see that white corporate did not like me. And so I had to get a therapist because of this job.
Oh, wow.
I lost my self-esteem because of this job. I gained a ton of weight because of this job. And I was making the most money I ever made. And I said, this ain't life. And I had just lost my mother, and I'm just like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I am not doing this to myself. And the company that I went to, they actually found me and hired me. So that was like my boost of self-esteem. But what really helped me, I'll never forget, one of my mentors, and I had a real hard conversation with her when I was at this company, and I told her everything that was going on. And she was like, welcome to corporate. And she's like a VP right now, black woman VP for a very big company in tech as well too. And she's like, I have a therapist for my personal life and one for my career. And she's like, you got to get one. And I said, all right, I'm going to get one.
Yeah.
She said, you make the money. She said, I go through this every day. She's like, but you got to get it out. You can't hold it in. You got to get it out because you got to go to work with a clear mind and understand that you can do this. You are in a leadership role, so it gets harder. It's not going to get easier as you climb this corporate ladder as a black woman in sales who's a high performer, who builds high-performance sales team, and you making six figures in white America. You better get with it, is what she told me. And I said, you're absolutely right. And I didn't know that. And that's why mentorship is so important. This person is still my mentor to this day. But that's why mentorship, I had to lean in on something because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And my mom was gone. It was COVID. It was a lot going on. I had to really step up in my family.